Entire month of March, we are learning how the powerful code of conduct that can help transform our lives.
Yeah, joining us this morning is mindset expert and co-founder of Spread Happy, Andrea Vallely. So this week it's all about not taking things so personally.
Yes, exactly.
But everything's about me.
I know in your world it is,
Yes.
Roby. But this is really good for Suzanne. If you're at home, don't take all this stuff personally. I was cracking up earlier. You guys are so funny. When we take things personally, we're internalizing what someone is saying. People communicate based on how they're feeling. They communicate based on their model of the world. So we actually get to get somebody's temperature, their internal temperature, when they're communicating with us. So if they're communicating from a low place, there's something going on with them. It's actually not about us because we all communicate based on our model of the world.
Well, why is it so easy for us to take what someone else says and make that our reality?
Okay, when it hits us, when we actually feel that, that's an opportunity for us to look within. That means that we're in agreement a little bit with what they've said. So, and a lot of times if we're in that little bit of agreement, like if it hits a sore spot, we'll then act from that space. So we'll sort of even make that more real. The good part is when we do feel that trigger, we get to look at ourselves and say, well, wait a second, what's this saying about me? Why is this actually hurting me? Why is this bothering me? Is there a little bit of ounce of truth in this?
So what's the best way, because I know some people can get defensive if you say something that they take personally. What's the best way to respond when you feel those feelings?
Exactly. Well, here's the beautiful part. You said the key word. It's about responding and not reacting. And it's also having compassion for the other person and maybe trying to have a little bit of understanding where they're coming from. So, for instance, if you said something to me, something that was derogatory, for me to take offense, I would have to assume that you're in a great place. So maybe I would say, you know what, maybe Terry's having a bad day. I know she just moved. Maybe she's completely exhausted and she didn't even mean what she said. So if I have compassion for you and I come at you with love and compassion, that's really going to make the situation a lot more gentle.
Yeah, I tell my kids that all the time. If one of their friends says something upset, I'm like, listen, it says more about them than it does you.
Yeah, and also it's about having that understanding of, you know what, that person might be having a really rough day, but when we don't take things personally, it gives us freedom. Imagine if we didn't base how we felt on how other people responded to us. So it's freedom to say I love you and not be concerned what comes back. It's freedom to ask questions. It's freedom to say yes and no in life. It really gives us freedom when we don't take things personally, when we know it's not about us. Because we must remember, people are communicating based on their internal system, based on their model of the world, based on their conditioning. So nothing's actually personal because everything's coming through our own system.
It's a lot easier said to do that than to act upon it.
But it's a beautiful practice that will literally set you free when we don't take things personally.
We're doing Facebook Live?
Yes.
Okay, so we're coming up at 10:15 this morning. We're going to talk more about this.
Yes, we'll elaborate on this.
It is a little bit harder to do in the real
hard.
world.
Yeah, it is.
Like you got the idea, but to actually do it.
Yes,
We're going to get some
agree.
tips on that.
Perfect.
That's a Facebook Live at CBS 12 coming up at 10:15.